So I heard something I really like. It just hit home because he's hit some points of like when you're in a journey of being true to the world and true to yourself. Most importantly, what's going on? But anyways, when you're being true to yourself and loving yourself and wanting nothing but betterment for yourself, you really don't focus on anything other than that. And then when you feel like you're reaching to the point that it's going crazy because nobody understands you, you don't know who to go to because nobody understands you. Like, they think you're crazy, or they want to gaslight you in some type of way, which it's fine because we're not here to judge them first off, and we're not here to make it seem like if they're crazy or they're never going to understand you, or put ourselves in that victim mode, when in reality we shouldn't be put in that victim mode because we're all just going through this process, and it's every process differently from every person. So that deeper understanding, as well as shedding everything that I used to know or imprinted in my body and my being at the moment, because of all the different perceptions that I collected from everywhere that I turned to or intook in general. Now all those layers are falling drastically, and I'm like, there's nothing for me to latch on anymore as some type of what I thought was support, when in reality it was not support at all. It was just something I created as a facade, an illusion that it was some type of support, and in reality it wasn't. And then when I see things in a more clearer perspective, it's like, fuck. Like, then I have to also be compassionate with myself, because I really want to say, dang, why didn't you know ahead of time? But in reality, you can't really rush it, what you're learning, because how else are you going to learn and keep it there and it not go anywhere else? What you tend to learn at surface level, you're going to get surface level results. And what you tend not to actually learn at surface levels, the things that you learn in depths, it's what sticks for a long time. Like, I'll give you an example of just music beyond what I'm speaking about now. Whenever I played the piano, mind you, I only know one note, and I was taught by somebody. Like, it was hands-on teaching. It wasn't no virtually teaching, it was hands-on teaching, and that stuck because I dedicated my time and days to learn that song. So that's what the same thing I had to learn about myself. Like, how can I just go ahead and learn surface level things and heal certain surface level things and not go in depth of actually questioning what is it that I really need to heal? Or not even that, don't even push that so much to myself. Don't put pressure on myself. I had to have more compassion towards myself. Treat me in a more softer way, because I've been so rough and aggressive and my worst enemy, which is something that I find like I'm scared of. But then I realized I really ain't scared of it. It's just the fact that I'm used to being in this place that I find is called safety, but it wasn't reality. It wasn't safety. It was something I just created as safety. And it was enabling me from reaching to the point that I really need to reach to. And even with that process, I have to have compassion that I'm actually moving forward to it, because a younger me or older version of me wouldn't move forward, and take these steps forward. They would have just been complacent, and that's breaking a whole cycle from being complacent. and seeing the broader perspective out of it. And the scary part is that you try to like say that, and then it won't come out in words. It won't come out in the proper words, and then from there you deal with this, how do you say it? A persona that is built on just anxiety and literally being a whole mask, thinking that you're going to get results from hiding what's really in depths of not being able to be seen. So that's something that had to be worked on. And not being able to validate or appreciate myself, and that's something I had to work on, and I've mastered to that point, because I'm able to speak about it fluently, not jibber-jabbering my words, even though there's nothing wrong with that. It was my form of actual expression, because I was lacking the education of actual expression within myself. Because once I actually took the time to learn myself, that was the education, that was the wisdom that I learned about my alchemy, about the way I use my words, and also not only the way I use my words, the way I carry myself in life. And if I would have carried myself before the way I was before, when it doesn't exist right now, that's something that I have to also imprint in my head, because it's just like it exists in one moment right now. So the moment is now, right? It exists right now because I'm speaking about it, but in reality, once we're done with this, it doesn't exist anymore, because it was a past. It's just me speaking about it right now. And in reality, this right here is a whole past talk, because I spoke about this with confidence, with just the way I am, in a whole mirror, like a fifth dimensional port, and this is the shadow, this is the mirror. So, and the results is, it might sound crazy, and the result is I may feel like I'm crazy, but regardless of what, the fear is actually an activation of what I know is really inside of me, and what is the power that's inside of me. And not be afraid of my power. You know what I'm saying? And then on all reality, I also have to be comfortable in it, because I've been in that position, or I have been breaking out of that position of limited mindset, thinking that I have to be in this shell to be accepted of being me. And that right there is not a wrong thing. Something that I had to reprogram is saying that it doesn't matter what they think, it's matter what I think, and that's what's most important. There shouldn't be nothing else that's most important. So in that, learning that's also something that brings you right back to anything that has to tie to that traumatic response when you're younger or in middle age, whichever place you have some type of trauma response. That brings up a whole bunch of trauma responses, and it gets you right back to the anxiety. So you have to work that out. Like, this is a whole process that I've been going through. And if I were to speak this to some people, they were like, yo, why didn't you just freaking be complacent? Because it's not comfortable being complacent anymore. It's not. It doesn't feel comfortable. And I'm not saying that I'm comfortable in being complacent. You know what I'm saying? It's that in between. I'm like, yeah, I can be complacent, but then I can be like, nah, fuck that. I'm not going to be complacent. I want something better, which I know I can do better for my life. And that's a whole process there as well. That's a whole process that doesn't take fast, because it's not meant to go fast. And the more I rush it, you rush a flower to exist. That's exactly, you rush a tree to exist. The tree takes a long time to exist. You know what I'm saying? It got to get its roots, the sprout, and then from the sprout, it just start getting its foundation and, the stability to make that foundation be great and not for it to falter or waver in any type of way, especially when the wind's coming through. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, all that is your experiences. Those are different tools that creates like a different root that grows inside of the fermenting ground, because that's what's medicine. earth is medicine, so your body is even more medicine when it's rooted inside of the soil, if you want to look in that analogy. So you are the root, right? The vessel, the root, pretty much the tree. I am the tree, and the soil is earth itself. So as soon as you ground yourself, if you were to even hug a tree itself, let's say like that. So I'm a tree hugging another tree, and it grounds to a level that it can get medicine from whatever frequency that's making you feel some type of weight or off. Like, or even if you're sick, and you ask it to remove that, it can literally be that powerful. It's just a form of medicine. Especially if you ground yourself, you release this energy that thinks, that instills in you that you can't do it, right? Or it instills some type of fear that you can't say what you want to say, right? All that, it happens because it was already conditioned, and this is what's peeling off, and this is what's meant to hold on, and it's not meant to hold on. That's why you're in that position, that you're irritated. You're like, all right, now hold on, there's got to be another way, a form to not look for the outside source when the source been within me the whole time. Every key, every answer that I've been looking for, it's been within me the whole entire time. So it's like, now I have to go ahead and put it in the words and in a video to be able to speak to my own self, because detaching myself from myself to go out to outside source is what gets me in a place that I rely on the outside source more than I rely on myself. And that has to be thought about. So yeah, I gotta go to work. To be continued.